You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to do our review for The Arrow. Yes, The Arrow is finally back after its short hiatus, and a good episode. Look, let's be honest. After what happened last night on The Flash, they had a tough act to follow. They really did. But you know, it's funny. It was a solid episode. The Rhas al Ghul thing, we're picking up where that left off last time with the offer, and obviously, you know, Rhas let them go because he figures that, well, I made this offer that I'm assuming he's going to take because he doesn't have a choice, and it's something that we see that Oliver kind of struggles a little bit with. You know, he's starting to doubt himself in terms of his crusade of being the Arrow, that he actually does consider becoming Rhas. And what's interesting about this episode is when that happened, I kind of thought that it was something he would struggle with for a couple of episodes. I didn't really exactly expect him to have such a revelation so quick that the Arrow is what he wants to do. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because in reality, he shouldn't really have to struggle with the decision to be either Rhas or Arrow. He is Arrow, period. There's no question about that. But the fact that he had some doubt does make perfect sense, you know, especially after what happened with him and Captain Lance. You know, obviously Captain Lance confronted him about his daughter, and, you know, I don't think that's something that's going to last very long, but we don't know. Based on what happened at the end of the show, it looks like it could not only last longer, but it looks like it could be something that takes us back to the early days when Lance was dead set on getting Arrow. So, you know, in terms of the other stuff happening in the episode with Murmur and all that kind of stuff, that was okay. You know what I mean? That was more like, it's not that it was bad. It wasn't bad. You know, in fact, storming the police precinct and shooting down all the cops was a pretty cool scene. And then obviously the heist with them to get these diamonds to make armor-piercing bullets. And we see that that's not the end of this crew. Or at least it didn't seem that way until Rhas al Ghul made his little appearance, but we'll get into that in a minute. So, you know, that was okay. That was fine. I mean, you know, that doesn't, the action, you know, I like when this show goes back to Oliver being on the streets and taking on bad guys. There's something about that I kind of feel like that was missing for a long time, and it kind of was. I mean, when you consider that he was, you know, the second half of the season started with him trying to get well after taking the dive off the mountain, you know, and then when he finally made a comeback, it was very short-lived before he had to go back to Rhas al Ghul's little domain there and get back Merlin and save himself and Diggle. So it was for that sake, it was nice to see them back on the streets doing their thing. But it looks like now it's going to be something very challenging because, and I want to get to this because this is a big thing for me. Rhas kind of, to me, in one hand, it was cool to see that he's going to force Oliver's hand by putting Oliver in the very situation that he told Oliver he would experience. But then on top of that, it kind of takes a little bit of the mysticism away from what he was telling Oliver, and that Oliver, the minute he heard that from Rhas, he goes back and suddenly he starts to feel that way. So, but I think the wild card in all this is going to be his daughter Nyssa, because now she looks like she's kind of, you know, in purgatory. You know, she's not going to go back to her father, and it's not like she's besties with Oliver Queen's group, but she seemed she went to the right person. Let's put it that way. She went to Laurel Lance, and that seems to show us, obviously, that now she's going to take Laurel under her wing. And thank God, because Laurel had another laughing moment the minute she went and attacked Nyssa earlier in the episode. It was very comical. It's just, I know people hate me when I say that. It's not that I don't like Laurel Lance. I mean, she was a little annoying. She was annoying in the beginning of season 2. But it's just funny. That's the only way to put it. It's like Iris from The Flash going and doing crime fighting. You know what I mean? But if she gets the proper training, and it looks like she is, and if she gets it from Nyssa, she's going to be a badass. I will say that. If she gets training from Nyssa, she's going to be a badass. So, but let's get into the real thing here. The real thing that's really going to get shit kicked off, because now Rhas is taking matters into his own hands. I mean, of all this buildup going to the League of Assassins, dating way back, you know, from the end of season 2 all the way to this point, now we see Rhas is on the field. You know what I mean? And, I mean, does he really want Oliver to be the new Ra's al Ghul that bad that he actually comes out of his domain to go and portray himself as the Green Arrow, so that way it forces Oliver's hand? That way Oliver can experience exactly what Rhas was telling him he would? So, on one hand, it's cool. I like that. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, because what you're doing by doing that with Rhas is you're definitely forcing Oliver's hand. You're propelling all this action that I know is going to go down. But at the same time, you kind of take a little bit of that mysticism, that mystery away from Rhas being so experienced and being alive for so long that he knows what he's talking about. Now it kind of makes you say, well, does he really know what he's talking about? If he did, why would he have to force his hand? But I think he also knows that Oliver has conviction. Oliver's just not going to drop being the Arrow just like that, just because Rhas is offering him the world. So, or not the world, but the League. So I think the ending really shows you that it's really going to put things in perspective, because like now Oliver is going to go back to the days where he's the enemy again. That's what's going to happen. We already see, if you saw the trailer for next week's episode, him and Adam are going to go down. That's going to be the one of Adam's first encounters. Poor Adam. I hope that suit is ready, because let's face it, Ray Palmer can't even sniff Oliver's jockstrap. You know what I mean? The fact that the idea that he would even try to attempt to take out the Arrow, suit or no suit, is a joke. But he does have the suit. Technology means something. And that's going to be an interesting first time to see not only Adam out there doing his thing with his suit, but the fact that they're going to butt heads. And we also got to put into consideration, how's this going to affect the group? I mean, he's always running around with Arsenal and Canary, but are they going to be there, or are they going to wonder, wait a minute, I was with you, but I didn't see you kill this person? Or are they going to be quick to think that he is killing people? That's going to be tough to see, because he's killed people before. The whole first season is what he killed people. So it's not going to, I don't think it'll be 100% of a surprise to them that he's going to go out there and start killing people. But I'm sure they'll have their doubts. So I think that element is going to make it very interesting going forward, because, you know, obviously he's made this decision. He's going to remain the Arrow. I think Rhas knew that. And I think Rhas wants to take matters into his own hand. Whether or not it's because he really wants him as Ra's al Ghul and he's just being crybaby because he's not getting his way, or he just wants to take out everybody, starting with Oliver. We'll find these things out as we go forward. But a very interesting development. It was a good episode that set up, I think, that some things that are going to develop going forward that are going to be a little bit more exciting. Again, it's a tough act to follow with last night's Flash episode, but it was a solid episode. It did a good job setting up, I think, what are going to be some very compelling episodes going forward. Because now Rhas is going to be in the mix. There's no more standing back holding a sword. He's going to be out there. He's going to try to taint Oliver's name. He's going to pit people against him, and we're really going to see Oliver's true resolve now. That's what it comes down to. So, interesting developments. I like the scene between Nyssa and her father, between Nyssa and Rhas. I thought that was a really good scene. It was a short scene, but I like the exchange. I like the conviction on both ends. And the fact that he really did admit he just did not consent of that relationship. We got to see the Lazarus Pits. Obviously, it's another big deal. A lot of people predicted the Lazarus Pits as a reason for Oliver's resurrection, but that wasn't the case. But nonetheless, the Lazarus Pits are on the show, so that's really cool. And yeah, and Malcolm, what's to become of Malcolm now? He's off the hook yet again. So Thea is lost, but at least she fell into the right arms this time with Roy. So hopefully that helps her start to forgive herself a little bit and maybe get over all the things she's been going through because of Malcolm. You know, the cat's out of the bag with Sarah now, and people know it's Malcolm. Obviously, Laurel knows it's Malcolm. Everybody knows it's Malcolm. So Malcolm he's kind of stuck in purgatory now because his ass may be saved, but nobody wants to deal with him. Nobody wants to deal with him. So I pretty much think Malcolm's going to take off on his own, and he'll come back at some point or another, I guess when the show needs him or when they decide to write him in. But we'll see how that plays out. Or he might get into the game and try to take out Rhas. Who knows? But there's enough question marks developed in this episode that's going to make it for a very compelling show to the end of the season. And I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be good. But unfortunately, like I said, this followed up a very, very good Flash episode. But that doesn't mean it was a bad episode. It was actually a really good episode that I felt more or less is setting things up for the coming episodes, which look like they're going to be very interesting. But anyway, guys, that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the Nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.